as we welcome in our man, Trey Wingo, who's going to need a bigger boat. Trey, what's happening, buddy?
Damian, it has been far too long, my friend. How are you?
It's I can actually see you. It is great to see you.
It is great to be seen by you, buddy. Everything good?
Yeah, man, everything's great. We're gearing up for the NFC Championship this weekend, the 49ers and the Rams. And I was just saying it's so interesting headed into this NFC Championship. The two biggest games that the San Francisco 49ers
By the way,
have
real quickly, I want to. I'm sorry, I hadn't said hi to your partner there, Damian. I go way back. I apologize. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm just, I'm letting every old friends catch up. I get
All
in.
Right. I didn't want to feel like we were freezing you out there, so I apologize for that.
It's all good, Trey. It's all good.
That's my man KC. He's a big 49ers fan. He's hyped up for this weekend. And it seems like a fitting, conclusion to this NFC season, Trey. When you look at the two biggest games that the San Francisco 49ers have been against the Los Angeles Rams, that Week 10 matchup where they needed to turn things around after losing to Colt McCoy. And then, of course, the Week 18 matchup that got them in the playoffs.
Well, karma remains undefeated, right? Because what's standing in the way of the Rams having a home Super Bowl game for the second straight year, by the way, before it never happening before last year, is the 49ers. And if they had just taken care of their business Week 18, when they were up 17-0 against San Francisco at home, they wouldn't be playing the 49ers because the 49ers wouldn't have made the postseason. The Saints would have made the postseason. So karma is a you-know-what, man, because there are two things that live in Sean McVay's head, the head coach of the Rams. Every play he's ever remembered, ever called, and the outcome of those plays. I'm sure you've seen that parlor trick a million times from him. And Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan has won 6 straight games over the Sean McVay-led Rams. And it goes back to me, Damian. I don't know. Do you have brothers? I can't remember.
I don't. No,
okay,
I just have a sister.
I don't either. But like I was in a fraternity and I had a little brother. And no matter how old he gets and I gets, he's always my little brother in the fraternity. Right. And on that Washington football team coaching staff, Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator, and two of his position coaches who reported to him were Matt LaFleur, who's now the Packers head coach, and Sean McVay, who's now the Rams head coach. Look at Kyle Shanahan's record against Matt LaFleur and Sean McVay. He's beaten Matt LaFleur twice in the NFC Championship game. And as we said, he's beaten Sean McVay 6 times in a row. Sometimes when you're the big brother and you're the dude, you just have to remind the little guys, this is how it works, bro. Like you're not me yet, Yeah. And I think you can laugh at me all you want, but much in the same way the Patriots and Bill Belichick lived in Peyton Manning's head and Tony Dungy's head for a long time. Kyle Shanahan's living rent-free right now in that redheaded brain of Sean McVay.
Well, it's interesting you say that because one of the big storylines I know with 49ers fans and media in that Week 18 matchup, and it absolutely stood out to me when I saw it happen, was Sean McVay going into the end zone to celebrate the touchdown that I think put them up 17-0. And with you saying like it was a little something extra. Now, I've seen Sean McVay over celebrate before. Like he went into the tunnel with OBJ one time. It's like, what is this guy doing, right? But it seemed like, it was in his head. Like, I'm going to get this guy this time. Like, I'm going to get him this time. And it ended up being his downfall because, like you said, karma played into it. Do you think at this point in the NFC Championship game that that's going to play a role in anything that either one of these two guys do? Like, is it just the game, or are they still kind of worried about the whole little bro and I got to beat Kyle Shanahan type deal?
Look, the game is mental. Like it's as mental as it is physical. Obviously, the play on the field is going to dictate, but those players are human beings. Those players know they've lost to those guys 6 straight times. Like that's unavoidable, right? If you're a basketball player and you've missed 3 free throws in a row and you have a free throw to win the game, you don't tell me you're not thinking about it. Like it's there. It's always there. And how you handle the fact that it's there does everything, right? Like they can't pretend like it doesn't exist, that they haven't lost to these guys 6 straight times, but it's how they process it. And can they process it positively, or are they going to process it negatively? Look, I spent 6 years in St. Louis, Missouri before I moved to ESPN. Missouri's called the show me state, right? Show me you can do it, and then I'll believe it. But until you show me, I'm not going to believe it.
I've been to St. Louis with Trey, by the way. He's like I've had some of the best food I have ever had hanging
Chemos,
out.
baby. Let's go.
I've had some of the best food I have ever eaten hanging out with Trey Wingo. You talk about being humans, the psychological part of this. The 49ers are here, and given the fact that they were once 3-5, it's like, wow, like all right, we knew they were capable, but coming off the season they had last year, shoot, Trey, the last time you were on this show, we were preparing for the quarterback they were going to draft. But with the Rams, it's like Stafford, Von Miller, Odell Beckham Jr., all of these guys that they got, like, they have been waiting for this game all year long. Like they were expecting to play a home Super Bowl game like the Tampa Bay Bucks. Like that feels like it's just another added mental element that they're going to have to deal with heading into this game.
Look, the Rams have been all in for a few years now, right? They treat first round draft picks like most of us treat toilet paper. We just get rid of it and get more. Brandon Cooks, first round pick, not a problem. Jalen Ramsey, first round pick, no problem. Matthew Stafford, first round pick, not a problem. The beauty of it is it's worked for them. I mean, like, they have found a way to completely rework and rewire how you build a team, and they've been in the playoffs every year. They've been to a Super Bowl, so they've been pretty successful. But everybody feels it, right? Like, I'm not going to say the Rams have more pressure than the 49ers, because at some point when you realize you're playing for a chance to live out your lifelong dream, that goes into your brain. Like, there's no way around it. But they're all in as all in can be on this season and potentially next season, and then we'll see what happens with all the people that they brought over. I think walking onto the field, the 49ers are probably going to feel a little more relaxed than the Rams are. The Rams were a very average team at home this year, 5-3 straight up, 4-4 against the spread. There was a reason, according to the good friends at Caesar Sportsbook, where, of course, I'm the chief trends officer, brand ambassador, that San Francisco's win total projection was 11, because, a lot of people thought they'd be healthier than they were last year and closer to the team that went to Super Bowl 54 than the team that just was devastated by injuries this year. And even with devastating injuries to a lot of players this year, they still found a way to make the postseason. There's pressure on both teams once you're playing for something as big as a conference championship. But I do feel walking into the stadium, the 49ers will say, we know how to do this. And the Rams are saying to themselves, can we do this?
Yeah. First of all, Trey is the GOAT because he remembered what Super Bowl was. Like, I lost track about 20 years ago.
Well, listen, Damien will tell you, there are very few things that I do well. Like, everyone has their party trick. I give me a Super Bowl. Just name one.
I got the years. The Super Bowl we made in 2019. That's what I always say. That is phenomenal. I could have lost a major bet if somebody would have asked me, the 49ers fan, what Super Bowl was it that you just played in against the Chiefs? I wouldn't have known 54. So here to go for that. So there's something that comes into my mind often. And I remember this great quote from Michael Beasley when he was at Kansas State. And Kansas State never beat Kansas, and they beat him when Beasley was there. And Beasley said, we'll beat him in Lawrence. We'll beat him in Manhattan. We'll beat him in Mars. It doesn't matter. We'll beat him. And I hear it all week, and I know you hear it too, about this whole ticket situation with the Rams and trying to keep 49er fans out of there. And you've heard Sean McVay talk about it. You've heard Matthew Stafford talk about it. You've heard the wives talk about it, and they're pleading, please don't let 49er fans get in here. And it's like, it feels like your energy's in the wrong place. Like, I don't feel they can beat them on Mars the way Michael Beasley feels about Kansas at the time.
You're exactly right. Like, I hear, like, players all that. Well, I read the Twitter post. It fuels my fire. Now, study the playbook. Like, that's better than reading your Twitter responses. That's just dumb. I'm shocked that Sean McVay takes time out to plead this. Right? You saw what happened in the Cowboys game when they opened up the gates at AT&T Stadium. It was a sea of red that went in there. I'm out here in Maui, and I have a buddy of mine who got tickets, and he's flying tomorrow to go be a Niners fan at SoFi Stadium on Sunday. I think that stadium's probably going to be 60-40, 70-30 San Francisco fans. I really believe that. And, LA, the state, SoFi is great, and the Rams are a really good franchise, but LA's always been when it comes to football. Like a few years ago, when they beat the Saints in the NFC Championship game to go to Super Bowl 53.
Look at him.
There was a 13-3, the final score, by the way. Julian Edelman, your MVP, but that's a separate issue. There was a video of these guys watching the game at a bar in LA, and it was the game-winning kick for them to go to the Super Bowl in New Orleans, and you hear one guy say to the other, "Did we win?" It's not like a rabid Niner fan or a rabid Cowboy fan or a Packer fan or the Chiefs fans at Arrowhead. My God, the noise they make. The LA fan, especially when it comes to the Rams and football in general, like they're passionate about the Dodgers. They're passionate about the Lakers. Hell, they're even kind of passionate about the Clippers. But football is just not, it's not a thing really in LA the way it is for other football fan bases. And the fact that they're sort of publicly acknowledging that and trying to downplay that tells you what they're thinking.
Who you got?
Show me, right? Show me. Show me. Like, I think they can, but I don't believe they will until I see them do it. Same thing in the AFC Championship game. And I know that the Bengals beat them 3 weeks ago. But that is not the postseason at Arrowhead, and that is not Patrick. Let me just explain, okay? There's something about the Chiefs that makes people stupid, and I don't understand what it is. Like, people bend themselves into pretzels to try and pretend like Patrick Mahomes isn't what he is, which is a golden god playing football, okay? He's 7-1 at home in the postseason. The only loss of his career was the 2018 AFC Championship game against the Patriots, in which Dee Ford lined up in the neutral zone, negating a game-clinching interception of Tom Brady with 1:23 to play. So my go-to line is the only player I know that can beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs at Arrowhead is Dee Ford, because ain't nobody else done it, okay? 7-1, 13 seconds, not a problem. Think about what he did against Buffalo. And by the way, Josh Allen played a great game. There was a great quarterback duel for the ages. But the Chiefs defense is slightly above average at its best. And they had one of their best playmakers out, Tyrann Mathieu, who, by the way, I DM'd him. It looks like he's going to play on Sunday. And he did great. The Bills brought into Arrowhead the #1 overall defense, the #1 scoring defense, the #1 passing defense, and the #1 third down defense in the NFL. And Patrick Mahomes looked at them and said, so? Like, he's that dude. And I don't, like, people enjoyed their hot takes when they were 3-4. The Chiefs are broken. The league is caught up to Patrick Mahomes. Okay, sure, Jan. Like, no, bro, come on. Play the long game with this guy. Like, he's every bit that guy that every team would want as their quarterback. Every one of them.
Yeah. Is Patrick Chappie's new favorite quarterback, or is he still riding with Peyton?
He'll never give up House Manning. He'll never give up House Manning. But he's talking about my son, who, by the way, Damien helped train my son into be a college athlete. So kudos to you, sir.
Nice.
We're still riding House Manning, but we're pretty big 1-5 guys in this household.
Chappie was a lineman who wanted to be a beach model. It was fascinating. Chap wanted to be like, he wanted to pose with his abs and his chest popping. Yeah. It was like, well, that's not really what your coach at Georgetown wants you to look like. So
he hated the getting up to that 2. He's down to about like 210 now, Damien. Like he is, he's become what he eventually wanted to be.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, I love you, buddy. Thanks for carving out some time for us. We know you got a lot of these to do, man. Thanks for joining us.
There's the RSVP gold behind the velvet ropes list. You guys are on it forever.
My man.
Appreciate you, Trey. Thank you,
See you guys.
brother.
Take care.